Hey everybody, welcome to another video. All right, so today we are going to be doing combining a couple of different things together. We're going to be doing strength exercises with a stretchy band, and then we're also going to be doing some standing but chair-based stretches. So we're going to have a nice mix of the two of those things. If you don't have this style of a stretchy band with the handles, you can also use the physical therapy type band, the flat band, if you have that available. And if you don't have any of that available, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. I have lots of videos with strength training with hand weights, body weight exercises, cardio videos, meditation, yoga, and so on. So please feel free to check out some of those. I have lots and lots of those. We've been doing this for a whole year now, if you can believe that. Recording the YouTube videos for the at-home workouts. Of course, please like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, all those things, so that I can grow the YouTube channel, and also on my Facebook page if you're watching it there. Make sure that you like and share. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, before we begin, as always, our little safety tips here. Make sure that you have a sturdy chair to use for your strength training exercises, and for the stretches you want to make sure it has no wheels, it's not going to move, preferably no armrests, nice solid back on it. This is just a folding chair, which works fine. Make sure that your workout area is free of any clutter or tripping hazards. Make sure that you do have some water nearby and that you're staying hydrated. And I'm just wearing socks because I'm at home today. You can tell by the background. But if you need to have sturdy shoes on, please go ahead and do that, especially for some of the band exercises that we're going to be doing under the feet. You may prefer that, and also for safety. So go ahead and pause this video if you need to collect anything you need. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started. So let's just do a couple of quick stretches right before we begin here. So we're going to sit up tall, lengthen the spine, inhale. This is usually what we finish with, but we're going to open with it today. Exhale, pull down and open the chest. Let's do that again. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale. All right, go ahead and stretch those legs forward, toes up towards you. Reach as far down as you can, even if you need to bend your knees. All right, I've got my knees bent, completely fine. We're just going to get a nice little stretch there for calves and hamstrings. And then release, roll back up, and roll the shoulders front to back. Always front to back so that we correct any posture issues with rolling the shoulders and the upper back forward. And then nice and loose side to side rotation, relaxing the shoulders down. All right, good job. Let's go ahead and start with that band under the feet. So we're going to begin with that. Again, sturdy shoes if you need them. Grab that band. If you have the kind without the handles, you can just bunch it up to shorten it. You don't have to have the handles there. We are going to place it underneath the arches. So whenever you have your band under your feet, especially with the tube band, you want to make sure that it is secure under your arches, and you keep your toes down and your heels down so that you don't get snapped by the band. It does happen all the time, so make sure that you have it secure under your feet, and your feet don't come up as you do the movement. Go ahead and shorten your band up. We're just going to start with the lower back. So get a good grip on that. You want the same length on each side. Toes stay down, heels stay down, shoulders stay pulled back, and we're leaning back. So we've got a little bit of lower back and abs here. As you come up, thinking about that lower back, keeping the shoulder blades just slightly retracted, and then resist the pull of the band forward. So you're resisting the band both ways. That's one of the benefits of using a band, is it provides a cable-like resistance in both directions. So the chest stays up, chin stays up, you make sure that you're breathing. I've got a puppy dog staring at me. He's off camera, you can't see it, but I didn't realize he was still in the room when I started recording. I may have to let him out at some point, but right now he looks pretty content. Last one of these. All right, so now we're going to hold in the halfway forward position and do our upper back rows. So make sure that band is still secured under your feet. Same length on each side. Elbows up, shoulder blades together. Release it out. Row and release. Exhale, inhale. So people ask me all the time, when do I exhale? When do I inhale? The general rule is exhale on the exertion, which is the concentric part of the exercise, the pull or the push, whatever's the harder part of the exercise. Exhale on the release, so the eccentric part. However, if that gets confusing for you and you're worrying so much about your breathing, the most important thing is that you just breathe. So whatever feels natural to you. Just breathe. Good. One more, really pulling with that upper back. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and do our outer thigh, outer glute one. So we're going to crisscross. Swap your handles over. You're just resting them on the legs, and we're doing the alternating knee lift, tap out and in. Good. So I want you to think about the movement coming from the upper thigh and the outer glute. We're not kicking out with the foot. We're moving from the upper thigh, outer glute area. If you think of it like that, you'll get a lot more benefit than if you just try to swing the foot out as far as you can. Knee lift and tap out. And your goal is feeling it in that outer glute area. The glute medius and minimus, the stabilizer muscles, this is what we're going for here. Keep breathing through it. Last two. All right, great job. So let's go ahead and take the band out from underneath the feet for right now. We're going to go back to that later. But I want to do some of our ones for the upper body. So first one is going to be the chest press. So we're going to go around behind the mid back here. Okay, if you can see that, mid back. And again, we want to get it even. And for this one, we are going to keep the band underneath the arms and shorten it up. So you can see here, I've got it underneath the arms. We're going to try to avoid any rubbing or abrasion. All right, so we got a nice solid grip on the handles here. And shorten up your band. All right, we're going to go ahead and punch it forward. Push, release. Good. All right, so if that's too easy, go ahead and shorten it up even more. I think my dog wants out now. Marley, come on. Come on. Let me let my dog out real quick. Keep that going, everybody. There you go, buddy. He decided it was time to go. All right, so we're still going on the chest press. Now, a couple of things on this. We're going to keep the elbows a little bit lower, not winging out as much as we do sometimes. And we're going to make sure that we're keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. People very, very, very often will shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. That's just creating tension in your neck and your upper trapezius. Nobody likes having tightness there. It doesn't feel good. So you may have to consciously keep pressing your shoulders down away from your ears. If in doubt, do the exercise a little bit lower. In other words, push or pull a little bit lower so that that doesn't happen quite as much. And again, we're breathing. Good, punch forward. Last one. Excellent. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take it over the arms now. So I just flipped it around. It's over the top of the arms. Go ahead and shorten that up just a little bit here. And we're going to do a fly with some abs. So for this one, I would like for you to move a bit forward in your chair to the front half of your chair. Not so far you're going to tip forward, but in the front half of your chair, sit up super tall, lean back, and crisscross and open. Alternating arms on top. Again, if it's too easy, shorten up your band. And on the next one, we're going to add the knee lift option. Now, this is an option if you feel okay with doing this. If that's a little bit too much going on, just do the fly and the lean back. So, work at the appropriate level for yourself. Make sure that you keep breathing through it. I do apologize for the lighting. It's still early in the morning when I'm recording this. I've got every light in the room turned on and the blinds open, but it's still not the greatest. That's why I like recording at work. Lighting's a little bit better there, but I wasn't going in today and I still wanted to make a video for y'all, so hopefully you can still see well enough. All right, so a couple more cues on the abs. We're using the abs to lift the leg. We're using the abs as we lean back. We're not resting against the back of the chair. You have 2 more to go here. Oops, I didn't crisscross on that one. All right, good job. Go ahead and bring that band around to the front. We're going to take a quick little water break. If you haven't had any water yet, please make sure you're hydrating. Okay, so our next one is going to be our tricep one. So we're going to be using the band like a cable. So your non-working arm is going to be right in the center of the band. So you're holding right in the center of the band. Your working arm is going to be towards the end of the band, but go ahead and still, can you see that? Shorten that up a little bit. So this arm is just stabilizing, hold it up against your body, and then your working arm, you're completely extending the arm. So people struggle with where to feel this. You're going for the back of the arm. The triceps, again, make sure that you're not elevating the shoulder up towards the ears and you're not swinging the shoulder at all. You're just moving at the elbow. The triceps on the back of the arm, its job is to extend the arm. So you're going to feel that the most when your arm is completely straight. So this is one that we're actually going to completely extend at the joint. And we don't have to even come all the way up, but do resist the band both ways, just like we did earlier. You're resisting the band both directions. Good, one more this side. So you saw how that felt on that side. You're going to go for the same thing on the other side, the same amount of tension. So this hand now gripping in the center, just stabilizing. This is our working arm, so we've got more slack there. And again, you're coming out to full extension, focusing on straightening that arm, thinking about the back of the arm is what you're working on here. Make sure that you are breathing and keeping that shoulder down away from the ear, not swinging the shoulder at all. So again, the most important part of the movement is the full extension. However, you're going to resist the pull of the band both ways. So this one works very nicely. I prefer bands or cables over dumbbells, although the dumbbell kickback is a good exercise, but you get a little bit more gravity assist with it. That's the beauty of doing a band or a cable, is you don't have any part of the range of motion where gravity's helping you. Last one. I hope that makes sense. All right, so next one is going to be our rotator cuff. Rotator cuffs are little muscles right in the shoulder area. They're your stabilizer muscles. We want to make sure that we keep them strong so we don't end up with any kind of tear or injury. So we're going to be doing external rotation. You've got your handles if you have handles. If not, that's fine. Just grab the ends of your band. We're going to shorten up the band here. You're going to keep those elbows locked in by your sides and go from in to out. In to out. So if your elbows are coming up away from your body and you can see any daylight under your arms, give yourself more slack here. So you're going to feel that in the shoulder, upper arm area. Again, if your range of motion is small, that's okay. The important thing is just really keeping that locked in, not bringing the upper arms away from the body at all or bringing the elbows away from the body at all. Right, very nice job, everybody. I'm going to grab another quick sip of water and we're going to go on to some biceps and some shoulders. I am going to add a standing option on this. So if you prefer to continue with the seated option, please feel free to do that on these next couple exercises, but I am going to show a standing option. So I'm going to move back a little bit here. Again, I apologize for the lighting. Hopefully you can see me well enough. All right, so we're going to stand on our band again. So it's going to be, once again, under your arches. Make sure that it is secured there under your arches. Your toes are going to stay down. Your heels are going to stay down. You've got your length of your band even. We're going to start with our bicep curls. So this is just a traditional bicep curl. Elbows tucked in. Sorry, allergies are starting to kick in here. All right, so full range of motion if you can, and then if you're doing this standing, we're going to add a squat to it on the way down. Make sure that you're not using the momentum on the way up from the squat, though, to help you with the bicep curl. As always, if you're doing the squat, Sit back in the heels, engage the glutes. The chest stays lifted up, not tipping too far forward with the torso. And you're breathing. Good. Now, if you're seated or standing and this is too easy, go ahead and move your feet a little bit further apart. If it's too hard, you can move the feet a little bit closer together, or if you're seated, you can even just use one foot. So it's going to depend on the difficulty of the band that you have. They do come in different thicknesses, so the thicker the band, the harder it's going to be. And the color coding system is not universal, so if you have multiple ones, you may just have to try different ones and see which one is the appropriate resistance for you. Good, last one of these. All right, good job. We are going to go ahead and go with a lateral raise next. So if you want, go ahead and move your feet closer together. Same thing if you're seated. And we're doing a 45 degree. So tiny little elbow bend, 45-degree lift, which means it's not all the way out to the side and it's not to the front. It's halfway in between those two, and you want to press your handles away from your body. That way we make sure that we don't lift through the trapezius. We're not shrugging. Instead, you're pushing those handles away from your body, and again, resisting the pull of the band both directions. Good. Keep breathing through it. Just a couple more. I know this is a challenge one, and you don't have to come up really high. I'm not coming up super high with this one. You don't need to. All right. Great job. So go ahead and put that band aside, and let's come back to our chair here for just a moment and just doing our heel raise, toe raise. We don't need the band for this, but what I do want you to do is, as you're doing this, I very commonly see, and I'm guilty of this too, the ankles dropping in or the knees dropping in, all right? So we want to make sure that we keep the ankles neutral, not dropping in, no pronation, and the knees not dropping in. I also see that a lot when people do squats. So we want to make sure that we're not doing any of that. So just range of motion through the ankles, lifting through the arches of the feet. So that is the end of your band workout, and we are going to move on to those stretches now that we talked about. One more. All right, so we're just going to go in and out here for a little ankle mobility. In and out. You certainly can do some of these things standing for balance exercises. I do have a balance video that I did recently, a couple weeks ago, with all kinds of different pieces of equipment, so you can check that out if you want some more balance exercises. It's always good to work on your balance. All right, let's go ahead and come up. We're going to come up to standing, but we're going to be using our chair for assist. So hydrate. And then we're going to be doing some stretches from the standing position. And of course, you know I like my downward dog, but before we do the downward dog, we're going to do cat-cow. So cat-cow is a really nice one. It can be used as an ab engagement exercise. I know some physical therapists will use it as an ab engagement exercise. We're just going to be using it as a stretch for your back, but you definitely can pull in and engage the abs during the cat part of the position if you want to. So again, make sure you have a nice solid chair there that's not going to move on you, and you're going to take one small step back, big grip on the chair, make sure that you feel secure. First part is your cat, so you're tucking your chin and your tailbone to round the back, and then the cow part you're going the other way. So we're going to arch or flatten out the back. So you want to stay in comfortable range of motion for your back here. It should feel good. It shouldn't feel like you're straining or overstretching at all. Just go with your own individual range of motion. Make sure that you just keep breathing evenly through it and your neck is relaxed. Again, this should feel good. Let's do one more of those. It's one of my favorite stretches right here. Almost as good as downward dog. All right, so going into our downward dog stretch, we are going to take another step back here. This time we are lengthening the back. So get a good grip on your chair. You're going to press your hips back towards the wall behind you. Press that tailbone back. See if you can bring the ears down by your arms and lengthen your spine. You're going to feel that stretch on the shoulders, the back, the hips, the hamstrings, the calves. Head stays above the heart though. Keep breathing through it, and then very slowly go ahead and step back in. Come all the way up. All right, next one, we're going to go ahead and just grab the hands behind the back. If for any reason this doesn't feel comfortable to you, you don't have to do this part. You can do the next stretches without it. I like to have the shoulders slightly rolled back and the hands just lifted behind me. But again, if that's too strong of a stretch, just go ahead and release that out. And then from here, I like to do a head to shoulder, and you can play around with the exact positioning of it. If you want to have your chin more down towards your shoulder or the top of your head more towards the shoulder, it just depends on what feels right to you. You can move it around. Switch sides, ear to shoulder. And then come back to center and do the chin tucking down towards the chest. Again, if this is too much of a stretch, release the hands out. And then go ahead and roll the shoulders again. We're going front to back here. All right, so I'm going to turn back to the side to show you the stretch for the calf and the hip flexor and the quadriceps. So we're using our chair again for support if needed. You don't have to use it if you don't need it. For this one, we're doing our split stance. So a lot of you will be familiar with this one. The first part of it, I'm working on the calf of the back leg. So you're going to drive down through the heel of that foot. Front knee is bent in towards your chair. Torso stays up tall. If that's not enough of a stretch, go ahead and move that foot back even further. Depends on your flexibility, but I will say that most people that I meet do not stretch their calves enough. So they tend to have tight calves and Achilles, especially if you walk a lot, you're going to end up needing to stretch your calves. Okay, now moving on to the hip flexor and quadricep. You're going to lift your back heel up, bend your back knee, and then tuck under. So you're tucking that tailbone under here, which is not a position that we normally do, but for this exercise, or this stretch, now we're working on the front of the thigh here and that hip flexor. So go ahead and tuck. And if you really don't feel a lot here, that is actually good because that means your hip flexor is not tight. And again, a lot of people have tight hip flexors from sitting all day long. Okay, go ahead and step in. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So starting with the calf and Achilles stretch, again, step back as far as you want to get a good stretch there. You're going to drive down through that back heel. We're working on the calf of the back leg. And the front knee bent in towards your chair. Chest stays up. Shoulders stay back. Move your foot further back or in, whatever you need to do to get the right amount of stretch there. Make sure that you're breathing. All right, so lifting that back heel up now, second part. Bend that knee and tuck under. So now we're going for, again, you can't see it because it's behind my other leg, but you're going for the front of the thigh. So the quadricep, the muscles on the front of the thigh, and the hip flexors, which is what lifts your leg up when you, like, for example, lift your knee up towards your chest. All right, great job. Go ahead and just shake the legs out. Let's come back to the chair and we'll do our figure 4 stretch. So this is a really good one. Most people, again, need this. This is for that outer glute area, that outer hip. If you cannot bring the foot all the way up, as always, your modification is to just cross the ankles over and then the rest of the stretch remains the same. If you can't bring it up, don't worry about it. If your knee is up high, it's okay. The key thing is that we're not rounding or hunching forward, we're hip hinging forward. So we're going to keep a neutral spine, even if we can't go as far forward into the stretch, it doesn't matter. Your key is to feel in this outer glute, outer thigh area. So again, make sure you're not rounding the shoulders in the back, you're not hunching, you're not tightening your neck, you're just leaning forward with a flat back, just going as far as you can into it. Again, just work on this when you can. This is a great stretch to do daily, easy to do in the chair. Breathing, but again, most people are tight in that area, so it's a really good one to do. Okay, let's go ahead and switch sides. Same thing, if you need the modification, just cross at the ankles. Go ahead and bring the foot up if you can. Again, if the knee's up high, don't worry about it. We're gonna lean forward right at the center, hip hinge forward. Breathing. These should feel good. You never want to force yourself in too far into a stretch. The stretch should always feel like a strong but comfortable stretch. You never want pain, you never want owie feeling with a stretch. That means you're going too far into it. Your body does have a natural stretch barrier to keep you from going too far and hurting yourself. I met one person that didn't have one, but she was definitely the exception. Nearly everybody does have a stretch barrier, which means your body's going to tell you when to stop the stretch. All right, so go ahead and come back up. Now, one that I don't see used a lot is a stretch for the front of the ankle and the shin. So we're just going to do a little dancer stretch here. I don't know if you can see this. So we're just tucking the toes under. So we're going the opposite way that we did when we were stretching the Achilles. Now we're stretching right through the shin and the front. If that is super tight, it might be painful for you. Back off if it's painful. But it's something that if you are super tight there, try to do it as much as you can tolerate, because that's going to help you with your flexibility too. All right, so same thing on the other side. I'm going to turn so you can see it. So again, we're just doing the reverse of what we did earlier. We're tucking the toes under, and we're getting that stretch through the shin and the front of the ankle there. Again, this is not one that I see too often, but it's a good one to do periodically. These are areas that just don't get very much attention. All right, so go ahead and come back to center. We'll finish off with just a couple of our nice relaxing ones here. So again, the side to side loosely, shoulders relaxed down, breathing. All right, then come back to center, and let's do our, instead of doing our regular stretch where we just reach up and down like we did at the beginning of the video, for this one, let's just lengthen the spine. Lean to one side. Back stretches are so wonderful. I think so. I hope you do too. And stretch the other way. Again, this should feel really, really good. So just stay in nice, comfortable, good feeling range of motion here. Now come back to center. You're going to arch your back just a little bit. If your shoulders will allow it, go ahead and take a hold of the elbows and stretch the shoulders back. If not, you can release that out. And one final roll of the shoulders front to back. All right, great job everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me to the end of the video. Thank you for working out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Again, please like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube. Let's help the algorithm so more people get to see the videos and get to do the workouts. And again, check out some of the other ones. I think we're up to like 70 or close to 70 videos now, so there's lots and lots of content. And I will release new videos as often as I can. So I will see you in the next one. Again, thank you so much. Make sure you do hydrate for the rest of the day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.